Well, hello, everybody, as Greg always makes sure that he is not muted for everyone. We have a special tale for you this evening. May Black Roses Bloom, our Dragonlance D&D 5th edition, will be back next week. But this particular night, on this particular Wednesday, in this particular year of 2019, we have gathered together some of the Legion. And where there are tales to be told, there's a campfire to sit around, and there is bardic inspiration in the air. You will find the Legion, you will find tales from the Grim, and you will find the tales that need the telling. And this, my friends, is just one of those tales. Tonight we will be centering in on Kobold Press's brand new offering, the Eldritch Lairs, and this particular one that we will be looking at is written by James Hake. And as we delve into this, I'll give you a brief bit of backstory, but you will not get to meet the characters. You will not get to meet the players, because we have a story. These characters that you will soon meet have gathered on a road 3 miles from this site, a tent city, refugees. The look of distance, absolute desolation in the eyes of each, which is mirrored by the landscape that is around them. They seem to have fled to the nearest reaches of vegetation, just the fringes of trees and brush that have grabbed at the water before a great desert. And as this great desert is growing, seeming to wave like the ocean instead of the slow creep of something decidedly less wet, this group stumbled upon the tent city, and this city in its need came forward, asking each of them, help us. They were told tales of treasure in their city which had been swallowed by the sand. There's treasure, power. I know a lord, he will give you land. There were promises of political growth, promises of heroic writing. Each of these characters have agreed to go on this quest to reclaim this city for any of these reasons: greed, power, fame. But perhaps they went for the reason that was given to them by a wounded mother who crept forward after all of the figures of power had had their way and bent the ear of this group. And the mother simply said, as I was wounded, my children, they're still there. And so do we have 5 heroes? Do we have 1? We won't know. But regardless, this group decided to take the mantle of this quest, this particular labor, gifted not to Hercules, but these 5. And they decided to go into this fresh desert, this encroaching chaos. And as they went into this area, they were able to see the wave of sand and dune give way to bits of geometry. A fallen column here, a door frame there, indicating where a city had been swallowed. They knew that the last place standing, the last structure that anybody saw as they retreated from the city, was the fortress itself. And it had been swallowed into a great pit, but the pit had not filled. And so as these 5 creep forward, there's one last dune. And as they pull themselves up collectively, 5 sets of eyes look into this bowl, and they see, well, I don't know what they see. Lauren, who are you? Who will you be playing? And roll a perception check.
Let me get in position for my character. Hello, I'm Lauren. I'm that salty ginger over on Twitter, she, her pronouns. Today I'm playing Sly Streetwise, the Ghostwise halfling rogue. She pops her head over like almost like she's what are those birds? Ostriches or yeah, like popping out like she just had her head in the sand and like shakes it off. Her hair is very shaggy and dark. She looks like a mini Joan Jett. Let's go with that. And she's got these kind of ambery eyes that glint at the prospect of finding some treasure. That sounds good. That sounds good to me. She's all wrapped up in these dark clothes with a bandana pulled around the lower half of her face, hiding her just a little slightly sharper than usual teeth. All right. Perception. Here we go. I can do anything with one screen. Yes. That's a natural one, which is a great start, but I am a halfling, my good sir, and I may re-roll that.
And there's no such thing as a natural one for a halfling. I learned that on Tuesday nights in WebBM.
21. I thought something was in my eye, but I just...
Okay, so as Sly pulls herself over the dune, brushes the mop of hair out of some of the grains of sand, catch her eye for a moment, she peers down through the darkening twilight. But before she sees, and I say what's been described, let's go over to Doc. Doc, who are you? Describe for us the eyes that peer over the dune, and roll for me a perception check.
Will do. Good evening. I'm Jim, or Other Doc, or Doc. I use he, him pronouns, and tonight I am playing Vadath the Grim, a half-orc druid. And it is difficult to see Vadath's eyes if you're not right up in front of him, because he is usually shrouded in the cowl and in shadow itself. His face isn't often seen because in part of learning how to keep the darkness at bay, he also has to learn how to make use of it as well from time to time. But if you're really close, as he's coming down, you will see beneath the brow that might have a hint of a scar or a tattoo on it. There are these very dark, deep-set eyes in a crinkled gray face as he looks out, contemplating how this connects to the ancient enemy. And I shall roll perception.
Nice. Look crit. At that. Nat 20, everybody. Doc, welcome to Tales from the Grim. And as you stare down upon the dome and this divot, this pit in the sand, as you share space beside Sly, your dark, deep-set eyes taking in everything. Before we explain what they're taking in, let's go over to Hawk. Hawk, who are you, my friend? And what eyes peer over the dune?
Hello, everyone. I'm Kentucky Hawkeye, KY Hawkeye. I will be playing Ben de Mustaine, who is a gold dragonborn. Actually gold, and the edges of his scales have a little bit of blackness to them. But you primarily, when you see them, they look gold as they reflect in the sunlight. But they're probably looking more burnished in this lack of sunlight here as we're in the evening. As he raises his head up, you see a dragon-like face peering up. You see with all the gold scales, but you see a pair of piercing green eyes looking out from them. As they look down below, trying to see what he can, despite all the blowing sand and everything. Interested in what caused all of this to happen in the first place. His natural curiosity gets the best of him as he tries to speculate why all of this happened all of a sudden, and why this fortress is either partially buried or not buried, as opposed to not buried at all, or why it's even sunk. But he's also thinking about those two children that the mother told him about. thinking about his own forced separation from his family, from his clan of Dragonborn, and how he doesn't want anyone else to have that feeling as well. So as he thinks about that, had to break the string somehow.
Well, you have companions that have rolled well. So as the green set eyes of Ben drift perhaps into the past instead of the present, the sand swirls, and whatever is in the pit below is still a mystery to him. But we will go over to the companion at his right. Prax, who are you? And what eyes peer over the side of the dune, ready to roll a perception check?
She's taller than a normal drow would be. Dark charcoal skin with long silver and white hair. Her eyes are interesting. One, the left, a normal lavender, but the right, blood red without iris or whites, blinded by one moment in childhood. Lady Sasthana Helvane, she, her pronouns, and she looks around. She knows that the Lady of the Webs has led her here for some reason. She needs to walk the surface for now. She'll play the part. Clerics always do well, even on the surface. And as she looks around... 21.
And as the light is just perfect in this still perhaps disconcerting expanse of sky above, detail is not lost as the drow looks down with one good eye, but one good eye that sees all. And finally, to your right is the last of our company. And so I will ask Opal, who are you, my friend? And what eyes peer over the dune before they roll their perception check?
Those of the community may know me as Opal Dragon 98 over on Grimjack's Discord channel. I'm also known as Laura's Dragon 98 here on Twitch. As for my character, he also, like Opal, it was his in-ring name. His true name, he has forgotten over the many years he has spent in the gladiatorial arenas around the area. His forest green eyes peer out from a battle-scarred, battle-weary face, trying to pick out anything that moves, any prey that he might see from his more than substantial frame. First 3 of the evening, folks.
And perhaps it is as it is the special time of the night for the drow to be able to pick up on any of the details that are out there. It is the time of the night where the Dragonborn do not. And so, as our Dragonborn miss the following information from inside the bowl, as each of our heroes, I guess we'll learn that, the eyes never tell that, they never answer that particular question. But we'll just call them heroes for now, as they look down over the dune into the pit and they see the sunken fortress. There are signs of compromised masonry everywhere, as the wall itself is cracked and fallen in several places. But it's fallen and arranged in such a way as to still keep a bit of a buffer between you all and whatever secrets lie within. The gate of the great fortress is off kilter, no longer closed. The great doors themselves, probably housed by some mechanism to swing and protect against defenders, have cracked. They are open a bit, enough for each of you to get in, from Sly all the way to the Dragonborn. But where the Dragonborn don't, that ends their idea of what they see. The rest of you, though, where your eyes stop with the perception, your ears continue, and you hear the distinct sounds of battle inside. And as my brother Steven donates $12 for you all to have an advantage, that is the perfect time for me to say, once again, if this is your first time at Tales from the Grim, it is a collaborative narrative, which means if you look straight down, you can affect what happens in any way that you would like. You can help the party, you can give them magic items or advantages, you can give them plot armor, which is 2 times their current level, which is 4. So every plot armor donation gives them 8 temporary hit points. This is a one-shot, so they are going to be asked to burn through quite a bit, as one-shots often are. They're deadly. So for the 3 of you non-Dragonborn that perceive beyond the sundered gates, you hear a battle. So I will ask this company of heroes, what do you do?
That's weird. Sly looks over at Sestana. You hear that?
Indeed. I didn't think anyone was still here.
Right, you think they would have, like, climbed out or something.
And what were they battling? As far as I know, the desert came. Not anything that they would have to fight.
What is it that you hear?
Battle.
Battle?
Something is wrong down there.
Yeah, the city sank.
This whole thing seems wrong.
Normally they don't carry on afterward. There's ill things at work.
Or a sinkhole.
But what caused the sinkhole from underneath?
I know the idea is fascinating to find out. Would be fascinating to find out.
Should we take a closer look?
We must.
Perhaps quietly. Perhaps quietly, though.
Right.
I don't think I want to draw the attention of a battle. A pitched battle, at least.
I'm not one for stealth.
I could go.
I could help you be even more quiet, darling, if you'd allow me to.
I love when you help me.
It does make it easy.
I would volunteer to help, but I have a feeling my stealthiness would hinder rather than assist.
Okay, I'll see what's going on. And Sly stands up. She's only 3 feet tall, so she's not really above the dude, and just like holds her hands out.
And Sistana just raises her hand and kind of touches her briefly on the top of the head and casts guidance.
Yes.
Be careful, small one.
I will be. Ooh. Wait. Yes. No, I'm totally gonna do it. So can I stealthily sand surf down a bit?
If you describe how you do it, you absolutely can.
Okay. Yes.
We'll offer a shield for that epic Legolas moment.
Thank you. Oh, well, I was just like, who has a shield? Yes. I would like to dig the shield in a little and just go like I am surfing on the water, but crouched.
Roll that stealth.
Okay. And that's a
I
D4
will...
with guidance?
Yep,
D4.
and you do have advantage. So if you just remember, all of you have an advantage. You must let me know before if you want to use it.
Yeah, I'm a hoarder, so I'll wait on that. Okay. Damn it, character should come back here. I need you. Yep. What is that? 12 plus D4. 4, so 16.
16 is pretty good.
Yeah.
So as you surf down, you catch just the right set. And as you surf down in front of the sundered doors, the sounds of battle increase. And because of your earlier perception check, you hear the pew, 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 pew. And you can make out the sound of stringed weaponry. You're not sure if it's a crossbow or a bow, short bow, but you hear the pew, 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 the different thud pings of stringed weapons. But then you hear something decidedly different, as it almost sounds as if the sand itself is moving.
Inside, or the one that I just surfed on?
Inside.
Cool. How does it sound like a lot of stringed weapons, or mano y mano?
I tell you what, that's a very specific question, so I will allow you to roll another perception check. And
Whee! Dice. Okay. Doing this in a laptop. Okay. And I think, do I still have I have guidance for a minute? Or is it just on the next roll?
You have a minute or until you use it.
Ah, got it. Great. Cool. So 13.
Okay, so with 13, which isn't bad, I will tell you that you believe it's just kind of listening. It's difficult to differentiate the tonality of a strung weapon, but you're pretty sure just by the rapid succession that you heard, more than 3.
Ah, okay. And the door, or the gate rather, is ajar?
Yeah, it looks almost as if it's shifted and it's no longer asymmetrical. So the different doors have kind of shifted up and opened a bit. So this entire place is no longer on the same ground that it was built upon. It's the proverbial dinner plate that has the tablecloth pulled out from underneath of it. It's still set, but everything's a bit cockeyed.
Yeah. But would I be able to stick my head in and see stuff?
I don't see why not.
Great. Love it. Let's do it.
Okay, so as you stick your head in, you are gifted with the following. But before I tell you what that is, the rest of you are watching Sly as she surfs down on the shield and then begins to creep towards the door of this fortress. Further and further, and you see her move towards the sundered and asymmetrical doors and stick her head inside. I will ask each of you right now, are you doing anything in this moment? And if so, what?
Slana sighs. We're going to have to go get her shortly. You are aware of that, right?
Yep.
I figured that's why I offered my shield.
I figure
Yes.
we've got about 2 minutes before we have to go running down there. Should we start moving now or just wait?
Might not be a bad idea to at least be prepared to head down
Mhm.
if we automatically go. And as all this is going on, I'm silently offering a prayer to Bahamut for guidance before we head down and protection.
May the
God,
gods...
Father will guide us all.
It's fair. I put my staff out in front of me, and I briefly am humming, and there's a brief little flash from inside my cowl as the tattoos come on for a moment, and sort of my cloak whips around me a bit, and then afterward I still look mostly the same, but you can now see my hands appear to be covered in bark, in dark, sort of swamp tree type tree bark.
Okay.
If we're...
Also, I'm going to interrupt just real quick. A lot of times DMs will award inspiration when a description is particularly pleasing. I like to award mechanical boons as well. You described your bark as dark that is covered. You get advantage on any stealth rolls that you have as long as it is active for the remainder of the spell.
Yay!
Is there anyone who requires assistance being quiet as we get down this hill? Opal.
Yes. Growing up as a gladiator, you learn not to be stealthy.
It's
Greatly
all right.
appreciated.
We appreciate you for your skills. And the lady does bless you and keep you. As she kind of pats him lightly on the shoulder, and you see this slightly dark energy kind of come out of her hands. She casts guidance on him.
Okay. So you're all prepping to go down, but none of you are going down?
So Stana starts walking towards it, but quietly, like kind of cresting just enough so that if she has to slide down this hill after Sly, she can look graceful doing it and intentional doing it and not like she fell.
Okay.
I almost just gonna say, screw it and just go get his shield. While
So
still
if you
being stealthy.
And I follow Sistana.
if you're actively trying to be quiet, regardless of your metal-clad nature, anyone trying to be quiet and descending towards the door as Sly looks in, roll me a stealth check.
This again. Stealth.
Nat 20.
Not bad.
I have that D4, and I'm going to use it.
Okay,
That's
so
a 7 for Opal.
and as predicted, the gladiator who has no need for stealth in occupation of bearing and birth, you all begin to make your way down the dune. Luckily, by just sheer science, a dune doesn't have edges that can make a clatter or a crack. It is sand. And as you move down, though some of you may stumble going down, with a DC of 5 and the luck of guidance, you are able to get down the dune without causing something loud enough that could be a problem. But let's go back to Sly. Sly, as you peek your head, unaware of the descent of your friends behind you, as you peek your head into the fortress, you see the following. Inside what was once a courtyard, probably grand in scope and structure and architecture at some point, has fallen into the same disrepair as you saw the walls. A great tower, maybe a central tower, has fallen, collapsing and covering one side, almost in another wall of rubble and stone. One length of this place, just an area to peek by at the edge still available to you. But this destruction is not what draws your eye. You see from within the sundered nature of the tower that there are bolts being fired from cracks and crevices from the shadows themselves as great gray worms move through the courtyard. 6, 8. You're not sure. They burrow into the soft sand and pop back up. Many of them are covered, littered, and just absolutely pegged with these bolts, but it seems not to slow as they go beneath the sand and the crack of these bolts are left behind. And whatever is happening, those inside the tower are firing at these worms. But as you're peeking in and as your stealth check succeeded in not alerting anyone of your coming presence, I will allow one more perception check as you gaze at the scene.
Okay. Sure. 11.
You watch and you see the fire coming out of the tower, and it looks, for all intents and purposes, these are crossbows, and you remember that, there are many of the local guards use crossbows as opposed to bows. Not to put crossbows down, but there's less skill involved with the pulling of a trigger than the drawing of a bow, and you're not sure why, but your mind is remember that local guards often use those. But as for the actual wielders of these crossbows, you can't see. but you think that by the way that the worms are positioned and by how intent they are in getting into this fallen tower, you could probably scoot to the left or the right without their knowledge. And it is about that time that your crew, we're going to say quietly, I'm going to give it to them, they quietly come up behind you.
Stana just kind of comes up, literally just, darling, are you well?
Sly holds up her finger and then telepathically messages each one of you, because she's a Ghostwise halfling. She's like, worms, 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 just over and over, twice to each person.
Can we respond?
Yeah, I would have to look. Maybe.
I'm going to say this. I have a message spell that I use all the time on Tuesday nights. So just for the sake of our one shot and the fact that I'm the DM and I can say whatever I want, you can respond with one word answers to make it easy. But you have to be within visual sight for the response.
Purple.
Gray.
Size.
Big.
Number.
Yes.
6+.
They're about the size of 2 horses.
Yeah, so giant to me. 2 Mustangs long. And then I'll go through the process again. We could sneak by, but maybe we should help.
I am weary of the worms.
What will be, will be. If they desire, if you wish to sneak around, we can work on sneaking around. If you wish to kill something and mount it on a wall, we can kill something and you can mount it on something other than a wall.
Yeah, we don't have a wall.
We need to work on that.
I have enough trophies as it is.
Where do you keep them?
They're my scars.
Cool. I mean, should we help? I feel like maybe we should, help. Whatever.
Shall we try to sneak first and then maybe get in a better position to help than standing here at this doorway?
Yeah. Just thought we were Scooby-Dooing it. So Sly will go in first, and is the ground all sand at this point?
It's kind of a mixture. You can see where cobblestones and carved stones kind of like breach the surface, but the majority of it is loose sand. Now the sand, you're not sure how deep it is, because the stone kind of just brushes up and rises above the level. Sand's everywhere though. Everywhere. It is in the process of reclaiming this place. It hasn't done so yet, but its presence is felt in every square foot.
Okay. I'll give Opal his shield back, and I'm wondering if I could kind of try to hot lava this and hop and stay off the sand as much as possible.
You're going to try to tremors this. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I was going to call them graboids, but I stopped myself. I don't know why.
Okay. So in the classic Kevin Bacon maneuver and Fred Ward, we're going to see if you can tremors this. So go ahead and roll me an acrobatics check, and I will ask you this. You have a clear path to the left or to the right. And obviously in front of you, a good 25, 30 yards off, is the engaged battle between the Fallen Tower defenders and these worms. If you are trying to sneak, tell me which direction. If you are trying to just get a better vantage point, I will assume you're heading towards the battle.
I do kind of want a better vantage point, but Is there anything different about going left or right? From what I can see?
Well, that's an excellent question. As you look to the right, you can see that fallen tower, the tip top of the fallen tower, almost hits the wall that holds the door, the same wall that you're kind of peeking around, but there's an area that you could slip through. To the left, as you look down, you see more wide open spaces and what looks like a house or some type of outlier building that's still kind of raised above the sand by, it looks only about a foot and a half obscured into the dunes.
I'll go left. I want to try to get to that house, maybe the roof eventually.
Okay.
Acrobatics? Okay. 14.
You are able to hop, and you keep yourselves relatively out. You keep yourself relatively out of the sand, and as you get closer in the direction towards the building, roll me another perception check.
Okay.
The results of which, that's a great one. You definitely can see what's going on.
Oh, cool.
But everybody else is going to act before I tell you what you see.
Damn it.
So the rest of your group, what would you like to do as you see Sly hop like hopscotch out between the door and disappear to the right?
I was gonna follow the small one.
I believe that would be the best way to approach this.
I
I
believe
am-
sticking.
Sorry.
No. I believe sticking together would be in our best interest at the moment. It's much harder for me to keep you all alive if you're too far away from me.
Now, are you sure you guys?
Very handy in the arena.
So as you creep out, if you are looking to follow Sly, I need you to roll me a stealth check.
Let's see how bad I fail this.
Oh, Nat.
22.
One dragon, not so stealthy. The other dragon, stealthy as fuck.
My
So-
gold scales blend in with the sand.
Right.
And the
Yeah,
dragon.
meanwhile, I stick out like a sword. Oh!
What I like to do is when everybody's, or if you have stealth checks and you've got a bunch of really good ones and a bunch of ones that may not be so good, you guys are all veterans. You're 4th level now. You can take on the world. As you creep out in a line, Hawk, you disappear. Everyone else, Drow, disappears, quietly following the halfling that's leaping onto the solid stones. And Opal, as you are the last one out, it's not because you're noisy. There's a battle going on. But it's because at that particular moment, there is an errant gaze that just happens to go beyond the worms and touch your hide as you are beginning to move. Does anyone speak Goblin?
You know, that would have been smart considering we knew the name of the adventure.
I speak
Well,
Unfortunately,
Undercommon.
no.
I mean,
No.
I do speak Undercommon. Would I recognize the sounds of Goblin?
Abyssal, Draconic, Infernal.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is much like French or Spanish, that you recognize the language of origin, but not what's being said. So from the tower where the bowstrings are being plucked and where the crossbow bolts are being fired, there is a... And I need you to make a dexterity saving throw, Opal.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
There it is!
nice.
And so, with a nat 20, and as a gladiator is accustomed to all sorts of surprises, a bolt is fired from the tower, and Opal, I don't care if you're not a monk or not, you catch it as it's coming in towards your head with a nat 20, and you look at it as you see a goblin clear as day in what would be a murder hole of the fallen tower, and its eyes go wide as it sees you clutch the bolt, and as it sees you look into its eyes and realize it was the one that fired, it immediately hands the crossbow to one beside it. And that's the last you see as shadow engulfs the one that's inside. It doesn't seem that the worms have noticed you, however, but you may do whatever you would like as the bolt is in your hand.
I'm gonna pocket it for now. That's going to end up in the head of that one goblin.
Okay. So, Sly, yep, add yourself one goblin crossbow bolt of poor quality. Sly, as you creep forward, you are met with the following. With your 16 perception, you creep towards this building, but as soon as you get forward, you realize that the door and the windows do not hold the same type of shape as the rest, or what would normally be architecture of the region. You see that they are boarded up, sometimes from without and within. And you see, as you approach, a crossbow bolt come through beneath the window well as it comes out. But immediately, "You're not a goblin," comes out towards you.
Thank you. Sup?
You hear the sounds of movement and what sounds like the unbarring of a door.
Sweet.
And the door cracks just a bit.
Gonna gesture at the others behind me. Hi.
Thana will literally come up behind you again. Well, are we going inside, or are we going to stand out here and get shot at?
Which would you prefer?
Not getting
late
shot.
for that, my friend. I've already been shot at.
I mean, I could go either way on most days, but yeah, I guess we should go inside.
Taking cover might be preferred.
Okay. I'll try to open the door more and slip inside.
It opens a good bit. All of you can slip inside, but it's definitely been braced with something that has just been pulled out enough for you all to gain entrance. And as soon as you walk in, you see a human, she, her, inside with a crossbow bandage around her head as she's standing there, seemingly holding watch what looks like the remainder of the armory of this fortress. And as soon as the last of you are inside, she closes the door and kind of rocks a huge barrel into place to kind of brace it.
Nice.
I reach over to sister and getting it in place since it looks like she's struggling with it.
She seems wounded and she seems wounded and tired, and as soon as you all kind of take it, she allows you to move it into place to secure the portal. And as soon as you are all in, she goes back and sits down at a three-legged stool and begins to peer back out of the same window in which she spied Sly.
Seems rather inefficient.
Well, you make do when your city's been sunk by a sinkhole with worms and goblins. Hi. Hello.
The little
Hello.
blighters do have a keen eye. Oh, Paul's still holding the crossbow bolt.
Yeah. So, how's it going?
Not well.
Huh.
That's an understatement.
What happened?
I don't know. The desert swallowed up the city. It took the keep. stayed at my post. There are others that went out after the children, but they didn't come back. I was readying to go out myself. I'm out of water.
That seems poor planning.
Come on.
Fine. And she's literally just going to hand over her water skin.
She pauses for a moment and kind of uncaps it and looks like, is this okay?
Of course,
And
I wouldn't
she
poison you with it.
She begins to it's more she's going to take a huge amount of this. She begins to like greedily gulp the water in huge throatfuls. And you can see with visible restraint, she pulls back and caps it again and hands it back to you. Thank you.
I would offer you some of mine, but due to my nature, it's already poisoned.
I also wouldn't recommend drinking much more. It would probably make you sick. If you
Let's all
haven't had...
stop talking about poison. I feel like that's really awkward, and she's gonna think that we're trying to poison her because we just keep talking about poison.
Well, it's a question I get quite frequently. People ask me, is this okay when I hand them things? It's like, I'm not going to poison everything.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that's about.
I think it might be speciest, but I try not to judge.
I'm not
just going to
sketchy-looking.
lean forward during this to her and just ask, "Where are the children?"
She kind of leans in, not conspiratorially, but so she can be heard. You can tell that her voice is cracked, and the water has helped, but not, it's definitely a long-term type of recuperation. Inside the keep.
Don't worry, he's not gonna poison them.
She offers a brief smile. I never thought anyone was trying to poison me. I just
Do you
didn't
now,
wanna
though? You think this one's trying to poison you now, though?
I think maybe I'm starting to think I don't know. It might be the dehydration talking, but thank you. No, they're in the keep. We saw them. They were running and they went through the crack in the wall just north of here. The rest went in, but they never came out.
Not to be that person, but it's always better to know. How long ago did they run in? How far behind are we?
Day and a half.
How old are the children exactly?
I believe Sam is 12 and Linda is 8.
They're probably fine. They're probably like, Lord of the Flies in it. Which,
Probably.
I mean, that's probably not encouraging, but, alive.
When was the
Probably.
last time you've had anything to eat, madame?
She puts her hand up. I'm fine. Thank you. But I'm fine. The water will do wonders. Just, I need a moment to...
From a medical perspective, how likely is she to pass out? Insist on
Roll
his
it.
opinion.
Roll a medicine check.
11.
DC of 8, she is on her last legs. She is suffering from exposure despite being inside. Her lips are cracked. She probably hasn't slept in days. She is very thin beneath the armor that she's wearing. It seems as if she stayed at her post. No matter what happened, she stayed at her post.
Whether she protests or not, I reach into my backpack and pull out a day's worth of rations and give them to her. Please, I insist.
Thank you. She takes them, and though it's almost like she's past that point, but she knows what's going on, and you see her begin to break small pieces off and kind of just chew them. It's almost like it's in and of itself an effort. But you can see, without the need for a roll, Hawk, you can see that there's definite appreciation in her eyes. And I once had a dungeon master that explained this to me, and I always thought it was a fantastic explanation. Because Dragonborn are so rare in the world or the worlds in which they walk, it is always to the eyes of, when encountered with a party that has Dragonborn, it's not necessarily the Dragonborn that are looked at with awe. It's those that walk with the Dragonborn. And so at this point, the guardswoman looks around at the drow and the halfling and the half-orc, and then back to the two Dragonborn. And there is a genuine nod of appreciation, almost reverential.
Darling, I'm going to say something. You're not going to like it. You need to sleep, or you're going to pass out and get stabbed by something. Is there someone in here we can hide you?
Not by us. We're not going to stab you. In case you were worried about it, we're not going to stab you.
I can't sleep until the children are back, or I'm relieved.
Oh, that's an easy one. Opal? Wave, Opal. Yes, see, this one over here.
Behind you.
Yes, that one, he's officially relieving you of duty, and I, in my medical position, am a cleric of... You see her just kind of pause. Kellamvor, declares that you need to rest, otherwise you will be no use to us later as we try to escape from this place.
Well, cleric of, roll me a persuasion check.
I'm gonna use the advantage on that one.
Nice, love it.
19.
For a moment, she stares, locks eyes with the drow in front of her. And as she stares into your one lavender and your one completely red eye, she doesn't shy away from the gaze, but she nods. I stand relieved. And you see her force herself up from the stool and go back into one of the far shadowy corners. She doesn't lay down, but she kind of slides into a corner and rests her head on her knee. She's still awake, but she's following orders.
Can we
And
find
Opal
some
will
other...
gingerly take her place.
The
Just
stool creaks beneath you.
just one thing, just in case we should know about it. Were the goblins here first or the worms?
The worms came and the dogs, and the goblins came and they seemed to make friends with the dogs. I don't understand it, but...
Dogs.
How do you describe the dogs?
They look like dogs with tentacles around their mouths.
Oh, no. Okay, cool. Dogs and gobos and worms, oh my.
I have any idea what those might be?
Yeah.
I will let anybody roll a check that you think you want to roll. And I'm not going to say what would be the best one for you to roll in this, but you tell me what you want to roll, and I'll set a DC, and I'll let you know if it works out.
I did not.
I
get
will
the
roll.
acting skill.
I will roll history.
Nope.
I'm gonna... Sastana's going to try and recall her lessons and see if she remembers it through history. Doesn't matter.
Sure.
18!
Okay, the cleric of... As you are thinking back through your lessons, and as you are kind of really pressing your mind to see what these could potentially be, one thing pops into your head with the description of them being dogs and the fact that this area is recently sunk or sunken into the ground and the earth, albeit sand. You remember that there is a race of mongrel-like vermin that burrow, and colloquially or in common they are called dog moles. And they are not fun.
And she just kind of goes, well, they come up from the ground. The dogs came up from the ground as well, and they were very unpleasant-like.
Yes, but the goblins, they seem to make friends with them.
It's actually not surprising. They're about on the same level of the food chain. Sorry. So in your language, I believe you refer to them as like dog moles. I think that's how you pronounce that word.
You nailed it. You nailed it.
Thank you. I do try. It's only my fourth language. Sometimes I get confused.
It sounds so much prettier when you say it. I say like dog moles.
And for me, common is my second language.
Well,
Cool.
so the children are in the keep. The goblins are in the keep. The dog moles are with the goblins in the keep. And the only thing outside are the worms.
Right. As the children are inside, but so is the Hierophant.
The what?
A hierophant?
Yes.
A hierophant of whom?
I've only seen it once. It's a mirror to talk to the gods. That's what we are here guarding. That's my job. Aren't you here to relieve me?
We are here to relieve you. We are here to save the children. I always like to double check and make sure I know which deity one is considering speaking with. It's in my job, you know. I need to know these things.
I pray to any who listen.
Sweet. Okay. So is that the crack in the wall to the north is the one that was on the other side to the right?
You can, if you want to peek outside, I'll let you roll another perception check.
Okay. Trying to figure out where she's telling us to go precisely, or what's the shortest route to it. Oh, 10.
It's right there when you look out, and as you look out, it seems that just off to the right of the building, or the right of the position where she was like kind of sniping from, you see a crack in the wall. It's a large crack, and even from this distance, you can see that there's been kind of a sand disturbance. It's kind of, you're getting used to seeing what it looks like to walk over sand, because despite the wind blowing outside of the walls, here in the walls, much like a snowdrift, any type of passage seems to remain. So you can see footsteps leading through the deeper sand as it gets to this crack.
Seems like we have a path. It's that way.
I think you should lead the way, Sly, and
Great.
I think the gods should bless you on that path.
That is so nice of them. All of them. Kelemvor?
Yes, deity of the dead. It's important to make sure that the dead stay where they belong.
Right, so the dead are like blessing me to not join them?
Yes, indeed. You don't want to become undead, right?
No, I do not. I do not, Sistana. I do not.
I've had to fight the undead in my time in the arena. Not fun.
No.
Not fun.
Mm-mm.
That's something we want to experience, that's for sure.
All right.
Trust me, you don't.
I'm gonna...
That's the scars I have are from them.
I'm gonna slip out the door. I'm gonna look around again. I'm specifically looking for movement in the sand on the path that I'm going.
Okay. Roll me a perception check. I will give you for free that the battle is still engaged between the goblins that you were alerted to and the worms. It is off to the distance, a good 100 yards off, though.
Okay.
Because that's a long distance. But no,
Yeah.
it's like 100 yards away from you.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, so 12.
You don't see any disturbance in the sand, and the sand does get deeper the closer it gets to the wall because it's kind of drifted up against it a bit. But you see a path walked in there, as somebody's probably stepped forward.
All right, I'm gonna follow that path as closely as I can.
Are we doing this stealthily?
Always. I'm always doing things stealthily.
Let's roll that then.
27. That's better.
Okay, so you disappear.
Or not.
Right.
I'll save it. I'll save it for a minute.
Opal, as you said that you took the position of the guardswoman, as you are on the stool that's creaking and you are watching Sly go out. Sly passes between a board that was kind of nailed in place by the guardswoman, and as you wait for her to appear on the other side of the board for your vision she's gone. And as you look around, your halfling companion is nowhere to be seen as she slips away from your sight, goblin sight, worm sight. She's in a world of her own. Sly, what do you do?
Go up to the I go up to the crack.
When you look through, it seems to be narrow, but for you can go right through. Now, you think that Opal and Ben might have a problem, as would the half-orc, but not to the point where they couldn't get through. It just looks like it's going to be kind of a tight fit.
Cool. Yeah, well, they're not, they can't see me. I'm just gonna keep, I will message Sasthana, all clear, I'm sure. And I'm gonna start going through.
Okay.
Then.
Roll me an athletics check as you go through. And this is basically because you're squeezing through a particular section.
Ooh, 10. Hey.
For you, your DC was a 5. And so you are able to squeeze through. You do not brush any of the wall. Your stealth remains perfect as you enter into what is very much a hallway without a roof. This seems to be what would be the kind of the internal wall of a keep. And so you have breached what would be the inner defenses of the keep. You're probably now towards the host or the hold proper. But again, the sand is deep and dusty here. And there is, off to the west, you see one path that leads away. And there are a couple footsteps dotted in the deep sand. What are the rest of you doing?
Opal's looking for the halfling.
I follow.
We're ready to go, I believe. Apologies, I forgot to catch your name, my dear. You're going to have to bar the door after we leave.
Hannah.
Very nice to meet you, Hannah. If you ever need me, call me. My name is Sasthana of House Helvane. I might even answer.
She seems impressed.
Are you still hoarding that guidance?
But you can use it. You can give it to somebody else.
Okay. One downside to that spell. She'll turn and just kind of brush Opal's shoulder as he's sitting there. It's time for us to leave, Opal, and maybe you should be quiet as we do so. Let the guidance of the gods help you on your way.
I shall try to stay quiet this time. Hopefully I don't get shot by another goblin I'll have to murder later.
I'm sure we'll have to murder many of them.
We'll make sure that we save them for you.
I already have one who's going to get a crossbow bolt to the head.
Well,
I'd rather not make it work.
Where are you guys?
Blood very hard to get out of your skins.
All right, we're coming. We're coming. We're coming.
Penetrated the crack.
Is there anything up there that we should be concerned about?
Up the crack? Not that I've seen yet.
Be on the lookout. Sometimes these things hide.
Okay.
Okay, so you all, if you're going to be quiet, roll those stealth checks, and we are heading towards the crack. Why?
Whoa! I did it again.
I'm telling you what.
Oh.
I blended.
Roll 20 likes one of the Dragonborn and is not fond of the other. So,
Roll 20 hates me on a good day.
but double nat ones is also impressive. So,
Like statistically weird.
as you all creep out, you are able to get. You don't see that there's any type of alert or disturbance. You get to the crack, and as you get to the crack, one at a time, tell me who goes first through to meet up with Sly. I need acrobatics checks, as you medium-sized folk are now pulling yourselves through this very narrow opening.
I will go last.
Indeed, I'll make sure that we're going first. She's gonna kind of judge the space and kind of try and slip through it. With a 14.
A 14 is just what you need as you creep through, and you're, for a moment you feel like you're going to get caught, but you're able to kind of ease back and forth and negotiate through, and you pop out with Sly. Who's coming through next? 14 is the magic number.
Is this acrobatics or athletics?
This is acrobatics for you all.
Okay. It was
Be
worth a
careful,
try.
gentlemen. It's a rather tight squeeze.
I
Wait a
proficient
minute.
in both.
Oh, I'll give it a try.
Not so good.
Oh, well, I'll wait until he's done.
Okay, so Ben, as you go through, you take 4 points of damage as you kind of have to like grind yourself through, and you can feel your scales pull on some of the loose rock and rubble as it kind of breaks out of the shadows. You misjudge one area where you have to duck down, banging your head as you pop out on the other side, irritated by humanoids' inability to make things dragonborn sized. Who's coming through next?
You'd think they'd make these hallways for us normal-sized humanoids.
I just sort of chuckle. You hear this little sort of like sort of sound coming from you. You realize Vadath is chuckling, and he just sort of turns, and you can just barely see a glint in his eye for a moment, and as you actually can see his eye for a second somehow in this light, and he hums and shrinks down to become a badger. And walks through.
Doc, I want you to roll me nothing as you walk through the opening, and you are able to circumnavigate this particular little pincer area with relative ease. So you make it through. So to recap, on one side of the wall we have Sly, Sistania, and Doc, and who's left on the other side? Is it just Opal?
It's just Opal.
Just Opal.
Okay. So
It's just the largest out of the two Dragonborn.
Right. It's at this point that I will let Opal know for free and the other four know that the failed stealth check that you had earlier results in the following encounter. Down this hallway between the inner wall and the keep, you see a four-legged shape come around the corner, and it looks up, and for a moment it has the look of a bear or a very broad wolf, until the snout splits and you see these curled tendrils reach out, 1 feet, 2 feet away from its face in a spiral mass of these kind of writhing appendages. And just so you don't feel left out, Opal, you see coming around the corner from behind the building that Hannah is guarding an identical creature as it comes around and its spiraling mouth opens. Its starfish-like maw inhales the dry air of the desert. And it doesn't cry or scream and alert. You hear an odd as it laughs.
Well, shit.
I'd like everyone to roll me some initiative.
Not bad.
And Lauren, if you would, tell me what order the party gets, please.
Alrighty. Mother of Pearl. Opal's going first, followed by the Dath, and then Ben, and then me, and then Sistana, and then the doggos.
The cleric goes last.
As they should.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, as Doggo 1 and Doggo 2. Doggo 2's outside with Opal. Let's have ourselves some fun, kids. As we start with Opal. Opal, you're getting ready to go through. I am going to give you this devil's bargain. You may absolutely go through the crack. But you're not sure exactly what that would mean if you get stuck or if you pull Winnie the Pooh and have your ass hanging out the back end of this building.
Well, since I am a gladiator, Opal's gonna hold his ground and
All
guard
right.
that crack.
Love it, love it. So we're going to say this then. If you're going to hold your, instead of holding an action for what is inevitably going to be a charge, we're going to go ahead and advance the movement of your doggo on the outside. You are within melee. Go ahead and do your bevy of actions. I don't want you to be restricted to just your main action.
Well, first up, going to be using Dragon's Fear. The creature has to make a DC 12 charisma check. Sorry, wisdom check. Or be frightened. Oh shit. Well, I'm to action surge. To pummel it with me longsword.
Now maybe it's scared, though.
And then here's the second one for... that's not bad. For a total of 11.
Greg, I think you're muted in OBS.
I'm muted in OBS. Nice. I was just going to say that it was a great explanation of how Opal's sword was able to hold back and kind of fence and push back these tentacles that were probing his defenses. And as a gladiator of the arena born, the sand beneath his feet is usually caked in the blood of his enemies. This is not new to Opal. His ground is his for now. Let's go to Vidath. What do you want to do?
Reminds me of home.
Oh, let's see. I'm currently a badger.
An adorable badger.
I am a badger coated in bark. Is there
You are a bark badger.
I'm on the other side. Do I hear the one behind us as well, or is all my attention focused on the one in front of us?
I'll let you roll a perception check. It has a high DC because you've got a wall in between you, but...
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you hear it.
Like, so I'm just sort of like...
Well, you also hear the roar of the dragon.
Yeah, I turn around. I'm going to go back through the crack because I don't want to leave Opal all there by himself. And I'll come out beside him and resume my full size because I do not wish to attempt to attack as a badger right now. And
You don't want to be a snack for Opal.
I know, right? It's these things, they happen. So let me see, as far as the thing goes, let me see if that is a thing that is what kind of action. Bonus, excellent. Okay, so no time. So I pull up the my quarterstaff, I hum for a second. Again, there's a mild glow of well, not really. It's actually little sort of shadows wrap around it, and I come and I holding it in both hands, attempt to whack this thing as I have shillelied up.
Whack away.
And I shall now make with the quarterstaff whackery. It is currently wielded two-handed, so I shall click that button.
Do you get an attack in the moment of casting?
Oh, it's a bonus action.
Okay, yeah, your bonus action was to grow from badger back up to human.
Was it? Okay, well in that case, no. I'm sorry. My apologies then. I shall. May I then forego the shillelaging and then just attempt to whack it as though
absolutely. I was just gonna say, go ahead and that's a 23. You want to use that? So yeah, you're able to grow up and smack it with the staff. Go ahead and roll me some damage, please.
Let us do that.
Nice. So Opal, as you are holding your ground on the sand, you see your half-orc companion go from badger to half-orc and lay at the smack down with the stick as you have a companion at your side. Do you have anything else you would like to do before we skip back inside? Nope.
Not at this
Ben.
moment.
Okay, Ben, as we leave the outside of the wall, just a short 10 feet away, we have the inside of the wall and a similar scene. Ben, you are staring at the maw of one of these crazy beasts. What would you like to do?
How far away is it from me?
It's getting closer. It's about 20 feet away right now.
All right, as it comes charging forth, I lift up my hand and mutter some words in Draconian and Eldritch Blast right in its face.
Nice. Alrighty, let's do it.
Let's see. Okay, that didn't bring anything. So 25 hit.
That might do it. Roll me some damage and explain to us, especially with a 25. Take over the narration, my friend. What does Ben do as he steps forward and this ugly creature, apologies to all of the dog mole enthusiasts, but
I step forward, one right leg in front of the other as I put my right hand out and kind of with a cocky snarl on my face say, "Back to the worms where you belong, fool." And as I finish saying it, this great blast it starts out looking kind of golden, but the further it gets from my hand, it turns into this bright fluorescent green color as this blast of energy hits it right square in the maw.
Fantastic. Roll that beautiful damage.
Okay. And since I have I have the invocation that gets me a little +4 here. So how about 8 points of damage on the fool?
I love it. I couldn't love it anymore. Nice, nice, nice. So as this starts and burns through, you see it smack the side of this creature, and you can smell burnt dog hair. It's a lovely smell. And it kind of permeates the dry desert air. Do you have anything else you would like to do, Ben, as the Eldritch Blast goes off and you are standing there between this creature and your friends?
No, not at this time.
Okay. Sly, you're up.
So seeing Ben be all cool, Sly is gonna whip out her short sword and charge up to the dog mole and take a swipe at it. Her aim is to like kind of go under it, since she's so tiny, probably like sliding on my knees and then getting up on the other side. So that's what I'm going to try to do, if Roll20 will let me. Yeah, it will. We're good at hitting things, y'all.
I think it'll allow it. So
sweet. So that's...
You guys have been rolling really well. I'm just going to say there's...
8 plus 5 for 13 total.
13 total. Nice, nice. So describe to me, as you come in and slide, you're 3 feet tall. This creature, on your knees and sliding through, you can pass beneath its barrel chest and its stomach. Imagine a kind of a large, taller, pony-sized pit bull, and you slide beneath it. Lauren, what happens when Sly does her slide?
It's like full-on Matrix, but like on her knees, especially with the sand. So the sand, as she gets on her knees to go up and slash at some of the tentacles, the sand kind of whips up around her, giving her just enough cover to get away. I do not have to disengage. It cannot make opportunity attacks against me because I am a swashbuckler, and I will go hide behind something for my bonus action while the sand is flying through the air.
Fantastic. And we had a donation, so I might want to add to the narrative here in just 1 second, Sly, as you slide through and kind of go on the course that you and I just want to ask Staffan real quick, is that for Sly that the contribution just came in, Staffan? And something will appear in the sand for whoever this is for. But as we are doing that on deck, Prax, you're seeing everyone engaged. You are back. What would you like to do? Whoever gets there. Okay. Awesome.
I don't like these things. They're very annoying and they're disgusting looking. And she's just going to reach up, kind of fiddle with the holy symbol, ring it twice, and cast Toll the Dead at the one in front of her, because that thing's nasty looking. It needs to go away.
Fantastic. That's a wisdom saving throw, right? Or charisma?
I believe it is a wisdom save.
And that's a super duper fail. Roll that D12. Which 6. Nice. So as the Hemingway sounds off for this particular dog mole, much like only what a dog could hear, the dog mole in front of the drow, as it turns, hearing some necrotic bale, a beckoning to relieve itself of its mortal coil, and blood begins to drip from the ear hole on the side and from the corner of the kraken octopi type mouth, as the toll of the dead is heard and it is felt by the creature in front. But now's that time where the creature in front decides it's going to do a little of what it does. So the first attack is going to go at Ben, as the same mouth rushes forward and attempts to bite.
FYI, she backed up.
Gotcha. So a 12, does a 12 hit Ben?
A 12 does not.
Okay. And as it bites and misses, it slashes with its claw for a 15.
Yeah, I think that'll hit.
15 does hit. And so with that attack, it will do...
Ow!
What is that?
It will do 18 slashing damage as it rips across the front of the Dragonborn. And you can see that for a moment it even relishes in it and licks the fingers and the talons on its hooked and canine paw as it draws blood across the lower region of the Dragonborn, taking thigh and abdomen. And let's go back outside.
Before he does anything else, I'd like to use a reaction to cast Hellish Rebuke.
You rebuke him hellishly, please.
I love that spell.
Okay.
I killed the Wendigo with it.
All right. This will be level 2.
And Dogmole has to make a dex save, right?
Yeah, dex save of 14.
Okay,
Your
so
mother was a caterpillar and your father was a worm and you never had a cocoon of your own.
it looks confused, but it takes the damage. As we cut back outside, it has been rebuked and hellishly put back into its place. As on the exterior, we have something very similar occur as a bite goes for the half-orc. An 8? I don't think. And the claw goes for, much like it happened 10 feet away, goes for the Dragonborn. Opal at 23.
That will hit.
12 slashing as this creature rips across again, almost in a mirror to its kin just a few feet away. Both slash with their talon and canine claws. Both taste Dragonborn blood as the two Dragonborn suffer hits. And we go back to the top of the order for round 2. Opal, you are up.
In Draconic, he will say, "Die, foul creature." And since he's only wielding one weapon, his dueling style or fighting style kicks in, and I don't think an 8 will hit.
It does not hit, so as the creature is able to swipe you, you retaliate with a slice of your own, but the creature, sensing your retaliation, jumps back just out of the edged weapon's range, and it begins to look, weighing and measuring the Dragonborn and the half-orc in front of it, not scared, and perhaps learning. Anything else, Opal?
Not at this time.
And our half-orc right beside the Dragonborn. You see Opal miss, and what would you like to do?
Oh, well, if it's learning, then it's time to change things up. So I'm going to back up, not in the sense of withdrawing, but just sort of I take a step back. The staff still in hand, hold out my other hand, clench my fist, open it, and then there is a flame in there, where I am producing flame. And I hold it up, and I hurl it directly at the beast adjacent to me. That is me running over here and looking for the button. There it is.
Gotta love those not so hidden buttons.
It's just gonna hit. No, it hits really well. Go right ahead.
5 fire damage.
Okay, with 5, the creature in front of you all is singed. It does not look too terribly wounded. I will let you know the bloodied condition of the creatures when they reach it. So, yeah, that's right.
Not good.
Let's go back inside unless there's something else the half-orc would like to do.
Well, now I will
Flame-
shillelagh up.
Okay.
Little shadow swirls around the quarterstaff as this happens.
As the quarterstaff is effectively shillelagh'd, we go back inside through the crack and we pop out to Ben. Ben, you've just suffered that 18 points of slashing damage. What's your next move?
Well, since he's right on top of me now, Ben will pull out his longsword and try to slash this thing into bits.
Let's do it.
21.
Just misses. No, I'm joking. It hits. Let's do this.
Alrighty. 10 of slash.
It's bloodied. All right, so with that vicious slash across, you give as well as you get, Ben. Your attack and action is in. Any bonus or movement?
No other move. No, let's see. No, any other movement's going to give him opportunity, so I'll probably stay put.
Sounds good, sounds good. And that takes us back to Sly. Sly, where did you end up your last move? Where in relation to the doggo are you?
Not next to it, but I'm about to be. I was going to hide. I realized I didn't roll a stealth check.
I figured you were disengaging and doing that, so that's okay. I figured you were going.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do the same move, but behind it this time, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, just like ninja run behind it and like try to cut its tail and then like do the same thing, just the other way.
Nice. And there's plot armor has just come in from Pope World Build as Opal gets plot armor. So Opal, you will get 8 points of 8 temporary hit points for plot armor. Thank you very much to the Pope of Malibu. Project Athena, everybody, watch it. Pope was on it too. Okay, so go ahead and roll that beautiful attack.
Okay. 14?
Exactly what you need to hit.
Yes, so good. I love it. Great. Yeah, I learned too, bitch. Oh my god. 15 points of damage.
Rogues, everybody.
I love them. And I will do the same thing. I don't have to disengage because it can't attack me because I hit it with melee attack.
I was going to ask you a question as you do this. How do you kill the doggo?
Yay! Yes. Doggo! Well, I don't know why it would die from me cutting off its tail, which was my original intent.
It's a hemophiliac. It's a hemophiliac mole dog.
Well, since we're so into cracks, apparently, we're just gonna skewer it up the backside. Because I'm a classy broad.
Okay, I'm not gonna get into too much detail with this, but this is like the old Hucklebuck is what's going on here, where okay, this is Montezuma's revenge taken to another level, everyone, as you are able to dispatch this beast in the very way that you described. And because that puts you the furthest, as you said, you're on the backside of this creature, as the creature turns and falls, just as it falls not to rise again, where its tail is, brushes one last swipe, and you see the sand move away, and you see a cylinder just beneath the sand surface.
Well, I love things. I mean, I hope that didn't come from its tail. I'll pick it up. I'm feeling gutsy, and I'm covered in guts.
Also, Prax, you will have a movement here as we are still in initiative for everybody outside, so be thinking of what you would like to do. The creature is dispatched, but Sly, you're able to pull out what looks like about a foot and a half long rod, and in the very middle of it, there's a button.
Cool. I just twirl it in my hands.
You are leading a band.
Nice.
I have a
All right.
question for the DM.
I hopefully have an answer. If not, I'll call Dawn.
Can I have... I hope you have this answer. Can I see through what's going on outside this crack?
Roll me a perception check. You can definitely... It's more if can you hear it? Can you sense what's going on as opposed to see?
No,
And if you can't see, all you see is a scaly backside.
that would be the problem. I need to actually see. For a 17?
A 17, we're going to say that if you get down on your hands and knees and kind of scoot back into the crack, you can see that there's, like, you can see the legs of another creature.
That's good. That's good enough. She's just gonna kind of get down, like kneel down and kind of almost very gracefully lean forward, but not actually crawl anywhere. I mean, she doesn't do that. But she's going to cast Toll the Dead at the thing that she can just barely see.
Fantastic, yeah. And I will definitely allow it. Oh, but I think that the toll is not heard by this creature out here. As the first... Do you have anything else you'd like to do? Bonus action? Or...
How is... Yeah, no, she's also going to just kind of curse, mutter that she knows that it didn't work, and then throw a hand behind her and just go off and call Senare at Ben behind her and cast Healing Word at first level.
Sure, go right ahead. And yeah, just let Ben know what his points are, as we are going to go. Dog mold number 1 is dead. Dog mold number 2, though, is going to do the same attack routine again. The bite is going for the half-orc. The claw is going for the dragonborn. Bite first. This time, 21 to the half-orc. Yep. 5 piercing. And the claw, 7. I don't think that hits the dragonborn. And so as...
No, it doesn't.
No, please, no, it doesn't. So no, the creature standing there, it is confident in its ability with these two it has. It senses something being thrown at it magically, as only a dog that can hear this particular tone can, but it does not affect it, as it is able to turn and look back at you. We are still in initiative order, everyone, as 2 of your comrades are in danger. Opal, what would you like to do, my friend? Round 3.
Well, first off, I'd like to use one of my superiority dice from being a student of war battlemaster to use Distracting Strike. I'll toss that up into chat for everybody. I don't have it on my character sheet. And that requires no action, and now I will do that for 13. Unfortunately, no damage.
Well, I was going to say, too, yeah, a 13 misses the creature. So the creature is able to jump aside, and so it again evades the swipe of the longsword as it dances back, learning, maybe not so much from the druid, but learning from the gladiator. Do you have anything else you'd like to do, Opal?
Oh, but here is that D8 for the druid's next attack.
Nice. So 7 points of damage should the druid hit. And also, Staffin has contributed some Cyclone-esque suit of plot armor for Ben. So, Ben, you get 8 temporary hit points coming in.
Very much appreciated.
And let us go...
The plot armor they can get.
Right. Let's go to Doc. Doc, you see that you are in a pitched battle. the very definition of one, what would you like to do?
Well, as this thing is dancing from side to side a bit, do I have an opportunity to try to get around to the other side of it?
Like flank it?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So, heaven help me, I'm about to try to use a spell for something that it's not necessarily meant for.
I love it. Let's hear
how
it.
It goes. So I reach back, so staff in other hand as I get to the other side of it, sort of behind it. I'm sort of assuming that its head right now is facing in the direction more of Opal, since it was kind of more engaged with him for a moment. I reach my arm back. There's another shift, and this dark vine comes out of my basically seemingly out of my wrist and arcs toward the creature, and this is me attempting to hit it with a thorn whip, and I'm going to try to kind of wrap it around and restrain it with it if I can, but we'll see how it goes.
Is it safe to say, Doc, that you are trying to leash this dog?
I am trying to leash the dog. Yes, I'm afraid.
The way you said that sounded dirtier than everything I've said tonight.
No, I was just thinking the way that Doc responded to that sounds like he and I have played for Yes, Greg, that's what I'm trying to do. That was the best. Like, cry. All right, whatever. I love it. You hit, my friend. You have thorned this thing's whip. Let's do it.
Okay. So if there is damage done, then
Don't forget, it deals an additional 7.
then that's going to be. I can math. 12.
12 damage, as with it now effectively leashed, as the druid wraps this around the neck and pulls it tight, jerking this thing away from the dragonborn. It is now bloodied, as the two of you have drawn it beneath half of its health. If you have nothing else, I am going to go to Ben, Sly, and Prax. You are all out of initiative order, but there are the sounds of fights coming through the crack. What would you all like to do? But I'm going to start with Ben. Ben, anything?
With my 30 feet of movement, can I get in a position where I can see this thing and strike and blast it?
Ben, as soon as you go to move back through the crack, you realize that, let me put this delicately, you've got a drow backside in your way, as you have a priestess who is casting...
Back of her head, maybe.
Right. Well, I'm just saying. You
I'm
fill
wanting to
that
see
in
if
however
it's visible or not before I do anything. If it's not, then
It has a very lovely backside.
Right.
Everything about
So,
it's lovely.
yeah, the crack is the hole in the wall is essentially filled with a
crack?
drow.
The crack
yes.
is filled. Great.
mm-hmm.
Listen,
Thanks,
I'm trying to be.
Thanks.
Yes. Yeah, Ben, unfortunately, you have reached an impasse.
I will just stay back and nurse my wounds then.
That's a free action. You may absolutely do so. Sly, you are on the other side of the crack as well. What would you like to do?
Could I possibly whip out my short bow and and slide under Sistana, go under her and do it from the ground?
If we roll a acrobatics check, I will of course allow this because halflings doing acrobatics and shit like this is dope.
Cool.
And she can
Heaven.
Asterisk Pruitt on Tuesdays.
11.
I'm going to tell you what.
Everywhere.
You were. Thank you for the subscription, Mirrors. I'm going to tell you what. You're able to get through, but you're going to take your shot at disadvantage because just as you're able to get through, it kind of jerks your short bow a bit.
Cool. I shall do it.
But I have a question for the DM,
Yes.
because the rogue would want to know this.
Love
Sure.
knowing things.
Does the creepy thingy on the other side that's engaged with 2 other people know that she's there?
Absolutely not.
Ooh.
We can sneak attack.
So that
Advantage.
canceled. Yeah. So it's just a regular shot. Nice. Thanks, Prax.
You're welcome.
20.
I'm sorry, miss. Okay, next. Go right ahead.
Jabooski, 11.
11. As half orc and dragonborn, as you're sitting there, and Doc, as you have the thing pulled back on your thorn whip, you jerk it back, and as you expose its throat, you see a little arrow, almost as small as a crossbow bolt, sink into its neck as it. The tentacles kind of writhe a bit, and you recognize the fletching of one Sly as the shot goes through the crack. Priestess, what would you like to do now that you have a halfling that is sliding beneath you? It's getting crowded in the crack. What do you want to do?
She's just going to slide slightly out of the way. I really, really hate these things. They're nasty looking and scram. And she's just going to ring the holy symbol again and cast Toll the Dead at it again. And
despite it being dead.
I wanted this
Nice,
thing gone. It's nasty looking. It's unpleasant.
Nice. Let's do it. I need to do something here as I'm 15?
Oof.
Yeah, no, it saves. Dang it.
Okay. This one's just not hearing it. It's not hearing it.
She's just it's most upsetting and annoying, and you know what? It's fine. Screw this shit. And she literally casts, you know what? Screw this shit. She casts Spiritual Weapon at it.
Ooh.
It's gonna hit.
This giant, very dark looking rapier appears out of the sky directly above its head, and oh, I know what it's doing. Sorry, hold on. For 11 damage.
As the rapier descends from the sky, and as first a halfling arrow, and then the rapier itself pierces the flesh of this dog mole as it's rearing back from the thorn whip, as the company that is fighting very, very well together. Drow, how do you kill this dog mole?
She just has the Spiritual Weapon, just do a full flourish and cut its head off. Just arrow Flynn this around and have it slice it down.
Okay, so Vidath, as you're sitting there pulling back with all of your might to kind of heal this thing, all of a sudden you stumble backwards as your thorn whip no longer has purchase because a leash needs a neck, and there's no longer one of those to be found as the head of this creature drops to the sand. Opal, you look around, and perhaps, I'm not taking away player agency, but the sand is now red and maybe a bit more like home. You are out of combat, my friends. What would you like to do?
We'll kneel down, take some of the dog mole's blood and smear it on his face.
Sly starts dancing in place. She gets up. We good. We good. We good. Very stealthily.
Covered in dirt and sand. This is most unpleasant. And
You still look great.
Abominations must be expunged.
I don't have a sponge.
It's a.
Ow.
Never mind.
I know.
Yeah, but
Are you
I-
hurt?
I have felt better.
Well, who else is hurt? I need to know. All of you come in here. It's much easier if I can see you and talk to you. Than I don't like talking through this wall.
Are we having a group huddle? Which side of the crack should we huddle on?
The one on the inside. I'm not going back through that right now. God, forgive me.
Okay.
I just sort of turned to Opal. You're hurt a bit worse. You should probably go on through, I think. Actually, I think he's hurt a bit worse. He's gonna, yeah.
I've been hurt a hell of a lot worse. And with that, Opal will try to squeeze his large frame through the tiny hole.
Give me an acrobatics. Okie dokie.
Yeah.
You take 1 point of damage, but you make it. You're able to kind of just scrape through, and you pop into the inside with Sly and Ben.
I'll re-badger myself and follow.
Roll nothing, and you make it. Okay. You are all on the inside. You have this kind of column, this hallway leading to the west, and it seems to curve to your left at a right angle. But beyond the corpse of this dog mole, all is quiet.
Why don't we take a moment, and I can assess the damage for everyone around me, and Sly, because apparently we're smart enough not to get hit by things, and
Yes.
10 minutes shouldn't be a problem, correct, gentlemen? Sometimes the guards need a little extra time to work their ways.
You may do whatever services you need to do, milady.
Yeah, just but a flesh wound.
No, it's not. I don't like bleeding. It causes a mess and it leaves a trail. You never want to be seen when you're doing something like this.
While Sistana is doing what she's doing, Greg, what's this rod look like? And how long is it?
The rod is 1.5 feet long. And it is completely nondescript. It is smooth. There is no evidence of metalworking. There's no folding. There's no seams. It is a pure cylinder from tip to tail, with the exception of exactly halfway down its length, there is an oval button.
I press it.
It is pressed. As soon as you press the button, the rod no longer moves. It's as if it's stuck in the air.
Unmovable.
Can I do a chin up? Can I do a chin up with it?
Roll me an athletics check.
I probably can't. Okay.
I believe that is what they took.
God, what is that? What is that?
You one-hand it. You go total like Sarah Connor, Rocky Balboa, and just...
I press the button again.
Boom, it moves.
Nice.
I must say, Sly, I am very impressed.
I'm actually mildly impressed as well.
I mean, I would hope so.
You are mildly impressive.
Thank you.
Sistana had spent 10 minutes casting Prayer of Healing, and it looked very dark. Lots of purples. Lots of things and glowing up along your legs to kind of come around your wounds and heal them, leaving almost spider webs inside to hide the clotting. Exactly. It's medicinal.
Exactly. So as you are all able to rest,
as it all happens.
And you all take 10 points of healing.
Hey, there you go. The inside of the keep awaits. You are all healed 10 hit points. Your immovable rod is acquired. Temporary hit points gifted by the rest of our friends in the Legion. What will you do?
Do you guys want me to go look around that corner?
Yes.
Cool. I would
Just
love
move
to.
on.
I'm gonna do it. Can you you bless me with I don't know if I'm saying it right.
It's technically Kelenvor, god of the dead, and he definitely would bless you. And she kind of leans down really close to you and puts her hands on it.
Yes.
If he was here, instead the Lady of the Webs blesses you and ensures that you can travel through the dark quite safely.
I'm so confused. Great. I will stealth ahead to the corner.
Roll that stealth.
22.
Again, you all turn to look and, oh, there, Sly's going. You turn back around. Gone. The shadows have swallowed the halfling.
Halflings.
I must learn how she does this trick.
I enjoy watching it.
I get to the corner and I'm going to Scooby-Doo around. Subtly.
Roll me a perception check.
I'll use the guidance on that.
Sure.
For 13.
Okay, you are
I need
able.
to get rid of my force.
You are able to see around the corner, and up ahead, you see that heading deeper into what you would assume would be the center of the mass is another crack.
Oh, amazing. I will move toward the crack, as is my way, apparently.
You get there, and from inside, you can see light.
Ooh, in the crack or on the other side of the crack?
It looks like it's coming from the other side.
I'll message Sistana. There's another crack.
Well, all right, I'll come up to you and see what's out there.
Okay.
Because I do believe I can see the furthest in the dark.
Okay.
Stealth check.
And she just kind of holds the holy symbol. Oh, Lady bless me as well. I don't like those things. She's going to take her D4 of guidance. As soon as I can type right. For 17.
Noise.
You creep up forward, and just to let everybody know in chat and that's playing, plot armor lasts until we are done the session. So it is there until you need it. It is Legion plot armor, and it is sturdily made. You are both at the crack now, the crack that inside has a source of light that is creeping through the entrance.
120 feet, what do I see?
Roll me a perception and I'll tell you. You see something, but I'll tell you what you see provided you roll well.
23.
You see everything. What you see when you look in is the following. You see 8 goblins that are all sitting around, and in addition to what you see, you also smell something absolutely awful. Pardon my French, but if there is a smell to be associated with any of my players that would bring up the idea of cooked shit, this is essentially what you're smelling. As the goblins seem to be trying to spit cook one of the worms. In addition to that, you see on a makeshift throne, it seems to be just several dinner chairs that have kind of been hammered together and nailed together in a weird kind of Game of Thrones type of way. You see a goblin she-her sitting with robes looking down on this area of culinary delight. And with a 23 perception, you also see a capped cauldron, and you hear from inside the capped cauldron,
Greg!
Oh, no.
The cauldron is not on the fire. It looks like it is being prepared to be added to the fire, though.
She taps Sly on the shoulder. Well, apparently the goblins seem to think that they're royalty now, and
Cool.
they're desiring to eat the children. I don't really recommend it.
Cool. I was about to go like straight up in there. So
Also,
thanks.
Then I think it's I mean, like, how far away is this person on the throne?
The person on the throne is roughly 50 feet from you. It's a big kind of an audience hall or a dining room, but it's not necessarily huge. This isn't a keep for royalty of a nation, more of a, like a fiefdom. So it's small enough that you're about 50 feet away.
Can you see the annoying one on that throne who seems to think she has authority in this space?
Let me stand where you are. Hold on. real close. I can be in your space because I'm a halfling. Can I see her?
Once pointed out, yes, you can see her.
You want me to snipe her?
Yes, I think that might be useful.
Yeah. Because they couldn't all get in here shoulder to shoulder.
No, it's definitely not. But you might want to let the gentleman know that we're about to do something a little fun.
Nice. Hey, there are, what was it, 8 goblins? I'll send this to Doc. With that. Yeah, how many were there? There were 8 plus the one on the throne, plus kids in a cauldron. No doggos that you saw.
Nope. And they're apparently trying to eat the worms. I don't recommend. It's usually not very good for one's health.
Gross.
Oh. I'm going to run up there. Is the other crack also small, or is it larger?
Describe the crack, Greg.
The crack. Okay, it's like you've seen this crack before. This is an almost identical crack. You've been around this crack. You've walked this crack before. It's about the same width and breadth of the crack in which you have entered and exited a couple times. So you're going to be same scenario.
So I'm not going to return to my regular size yet. Then I'm going to remain in badgered as I kind of scramble up to where they are. And I'm just going to come out, stick my head, my little head out, and I'm going to look over to get a lay of the land. And then with a claw, are the goblins that are in there? How are they arrayed? Essentially, you don't have to go to great detail, but are they like close to each other, separated out from each other a lot?
In pockets, my friend. It's there's a couple of them very, like almost like you would see a bunch of bro dads sitting around a grill where they're kind of arguing with one another about how to prepare the shit-smelling worm. You can hear that, and they're just going back and forth about how to cook this thing. And there's another pocket over that they seem to be kind of rubbing their hands and looking at the cauldron with the sounds of coming from the side of the cauldron. So they're probably like 2 or 3 pockets, maybe 4 at the campfire, 3 over here, and 1 just sitting alone. He got drunk the night before. He's an accountant. He's the one that's keeping the books for everybody. It's been a really tough past couple months. Everything hasn't balanced right.
God.
Go
All
ahead.
the tech forms.
That is precisely the level of detail I was looking for. Thank you very much. I appreciate
The level of detail I expect, frankly.
Yes, this
You're
is
welcome.
what we have come to expect as viewers of this channel. No, I'm going to. So, what side of the crack are we on as we are doing this? Are we are we in the room with the goblins, or are we on the other side?
No,
I'm assuming you're peering through.
Peering through.
Yeah.
Okay. This means I'm going to have to communicate this by kind of taking my claw and I'm drawing in the sand under us this little thing, which I have to make it as simple as possible. And so I kind of, this isn't going to work. I sort of point with a little claw at myself, and I draw a wavy line, and at the end of the line, I draw like a sort of a sort of a circle with like a line on top of it, which with like a stick figure of a person coming out of it, type thing. This is probably about the quality of what you're getting right now.
You want me to fastball special you?
And I shake my head.
Okay, this goes back and forth for a second, and as the DM, I'm going to give this to Sly. You can talk to them using your mind.
Yeah, I know. I let him do all of that work, and then I say, "What do you want me to do?"
I'm just like, I'm like, and I just sort of sink my little badgery head and sort of like. Since I know I can only express one word at a time telepathically, this happens over a few seconds.
Yeah. What?
I
What?
will
What?
trap
Yeah.
them
Uh-huh.
by
Huh?
the
Ooh.
cauldron
Yes.
from
What?
a
Go on.
distance.
Ah.
Somebody clip that.
I can't. I'm busy.
Yes, please do.
So what's your plan?
What does a yellow light mean?
Right. Okay, yeah, so you're able to get it. You're going to attempt to trap the ones by the cauldron, correct? Is that what the basis of everything is?
Yeah, so, and when you are ready.
Sly,
Yeah.
do you want to call the other two over? They might be useful when the blood and the guts start flowing.
Guys, get in the crack.
Right. Well,
I
stand in
would,
right.
but I don't fit.
Then wait. Do you have any oil? Do you want it to slip through the crack easier?
I mean, I can help him do that without oil, but yes.
Okay. Just providing options.
Okay, so everyone's getting ready to burst into the room at various points and in various forms to do various actions. I just need to know what order we're going to burst into the room. And if you have a synergistic action that's helping someone else, let me know that. And if not, I just want the order, and then we will begin.
Sistana is going to wait until after both Sly and she'll say, after both of you are gone, the two of you wait a second. I'm going to do something that I can from here that might be useful in making it easier for you to hit them and less likely for them to hit you. Or at least a few of them.
Excellent.
Yeah, so Jim, do you want to go first or shall I? Because my plan is to shoot the one on the pile O chairs.
I can, yeah, if you want, I'll go ahead and do that. So that way that the first thing they'll see is what happens to the people around the cauldron.
Mm.
If you so desire.
Yeah, we can go simultaneously.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
If
good.
I have-
like this plan.
What about the Dragonborn? I have Doc, Lauren, Prax, and then where the Dragonborn we're told to wait and then try to squeeze through. Is that the?
Opal's going last. He's the tallest out
Okay.
of
I'm gonna ask
everybody.
if you wanted me to go before you or not.
Please, brother, go first. You haven't your time fitting in smaller places.
Okay, the Legion. As we begin our last encounter, we're going to have Doc and Sly moving basically simultaneously. Sistana, then Ben, then Opal. We're going to take a quick break, rearrange cameras. We'll be back in like 12 seconds, maybe 15. We'll be right back. Hey, we're back, everybody.
Better hurry back to my seat.
Alrighty. As we are all here and we are going to run in, we're going to, instead of rolling initiative, you guys decided what it was going to be. All I'm going to do is roll initiative after the surprise round for the goblins and they are going to be slotted in after all of you. So I am going to put them in for the first 2 rounds, and if we have to roll initiative beyond that, we will. But
Sweet.
Doc and Lauren, you are both going through. Neither of you have to roll if you are in Badger and Halfling form, so you are able to attack. Tell me what happens.
So I'm creeping around to a little nook where none of the goblins are looking, hopefully. And I will, in that nook, as I am just very quickly resuming my full form, kind of crawl style. I am, as I do so, you see my hand coming up, and as I do, vines and thorns come up from the ground underneath the ones around the cauldron as I am entangling them.
Fantastic. And is that a dex save for them to get out of the initial grasp?
I believe it is.
was
Let's see. Strength. Strength it is. It is strength saving throw. Be restrained until the spell ends.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Only one of them is able to make it out, as 3 of them are entangled. And basically, as they're arguing, one of them turns around to get some spices, turns back around, and the friends are, as they're screaming, wrapped up by these things that have come out of the ground. Anything else that our druid would like to do?
Nope, just be as unobtrusive as possible so I can get around to somewhere else next time, I guess.
Gotcha.
I don't know if they've seen me yet.
Sly, as you roll in and you're preparing to do whatever you're going to do, your free action is this. You're focusing on the one on the throne, correct? Or is that Prax?
Yeah,
Okay.
one on the throne.
As you look up, you see her look up, and it's only then that you round the corner that you see she's holding what looks like a multi-faced hand mirror, and she's looking into it, and you can see reflected different faces that are not hers.
Cool. Can I do a called shot? Like with a penalty or something?
Yeah, absolutely. Tell me what you want, and I'll tell you what the penalty is.
Cool. So I want to shoot her in the hand. I don't want to shoot the mirror. So like wrist, maybe?
Yeah, I was going to say like forearm area. You're trying to just get her to... okay, I'll let you do it -5.
Yeah, cool. I'll use my advantage from Steven.
I mean, aren't you still hidden? And you're going before her anyways.
Oh, that's true. Hold on. Excuse me. I'll keep that then. And still roll that advantage. Come on, Lauren. You can do it. Can't do it.
Wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
As the bolt goes, or the arrow goes right over the wrist, you see the goblinoid eyes, the yellow, jaundiced for most other humanoid eyes, look up and regard you. And as they turn to regard you, all the eyes on all the faces in the mirror turn and look your way as well.
That is... Yeah. Is there anything I can hide behind around here?
Yeah, you can absolutely. You're small enough that you could actually hide behind goblins. But if you want to give a hide, you're going to have to roll a stealth check here as you use your cunning action to do so.
Yeah. That's better. 25. It shouldn't be advantage. 25.
Okay. So yeah, you're able to disappear behind the furniture that's in the room, and all the eyes independently in each of the mirrors start scanning, looking for you, as do the eyes of the goblins seated on this throne. And they all begin to look for you. Prax, you're up.
Well, if people are lurking, then it's time to stop being subtle. It's much more pleasant to be myself. And she's just going to literally stride her way up into the center of this space.
Okay, first off, roll me an acrobatics as you get through the crack.
Mm-hmm. Yep. She's gonna do that. With a 15?
Absolutely, you're able to make it through, no problem.
And she's literally gonna stride.
Acrobatics. Nice. I got it.
Yeah, it works.
I'm so ashamed.
She's gonna stride into the room, and she's going to do. Yeah, she's going to cast Bane because I love that spell. And she's just going to literally shake out her hand, and with the flick of blood coming off of it from her own nail, and cast it at the one on the pedestal, the one that's not currently entangled in that pile of other things, and one of the other random.
Gotcha. We have 3 other ones that are, or 4 other ones that aren't entangled, plus the one, so we have 5 total unentangled. You're targeting 2 of them. Let me do this.
Two random goblins and the one on the throne.
All right, let's do this then. What do they have to roll?
Charisma saving throw.
The one on the throne fails. Oh, that's definitely going to be a fail. Goblins.
So far, so good.
And now they are baned, which means they take a d4 minus d4 to all of their saving throws and their attack rolls.
Gotcha. Absolutely. So they have been unluckied, as all of them take a -4. Fantastic. Anything else, Prax?
She's just going to look at them and says, "The Lady of the Webs knows better than to... You all need to go away." And she's just going to stride and turn and walk towards a corner where they're not currently standing. Like, kind of back.
Putting as much space between... Okay. Nice.
Of the space so that they can walk in.
Got you. Ben, you're up next.
All right, I guess it's my turn to make my appearance through the crack.
Exactly. Give me some acrobatics, my friend.
21.
There it is.
I learned after the last.
That's great, my friend. Yeah, you're able to absolutely negotiate your way, and through this small opening, this giant dragonborn kind of pulls himself out. You have 5 of them that are not currently entangled, and of course we have the leader seated on the throne holding the mirror. What would you like to do, my friend?
I'm trying to think. Should I go for an entangled one or one of the free ones? I'm going to go, I think, for one of the free ones. Bonus action, I'm going to place Hex on, I guess, the nearest unentangled.
Okay.
And then it's blasting time.
Love it.
So I will get extra 1d6 necrotic damage whenever I hit them. And let's see. I'm going to give them disadvantage. Let's see. What should I give them a disadvantage on?
Charisma. Definitely charisma.
Yeah. I was thinking, do I want to do con or do I want to do dex? I guess it kind of depends on what else people are going to be casting.
I think, yeah, dex or strength or
yeah,
wisdom.
okay, going to give them disadvantage on dexterity checks. So with that, let's do a little Eldritch Blast. Ooh, a 10?
You see the goblin, and as soon as you lower the hex, you see its shoulders kind of slump a little bit as it seems put out by everything. But as soon as you fire the Eldritch Blast, it almost pivots away like a matador. Ah! And you see the blast go behind it as it's able to maneuver out of the way. Anything else, my friend?
All right. If I have any other movement left, I'm going to move to the left to give Opal plenty of room to get through the crack.
Absolutely. Opal, let's do it.
Well, time for the other dragon to squeeze through the tiny hole.
Yes.
And squeeze through it you do. 21 and a 20 by the Dragonborn. As you guys are both, all of a sudden this small crack produces two massive Dragonborn, and the goblins for a moment just stop as the five of you pour into this room. They all look with various states of surprise, but Opal, you get a chance to do that thing you do before they do.
Well, time to rush in and attack the closest untangled goblin.
Let's do it. That is a hit.
Or 9.
Where there were 8, there are now 7, as the goblin leaves this world, getting colder and not older. Anything else, my friend?
Goblin can leap in half.
Yes.
All right, we are going to go back up to the top of the order. And I want everybody to roll initiative and let me know if you get higher than a 22, please.
Cool. I think I'll use my advantage on this.
No. Not I.
So close.
23!
Woo!
Goblins.
Nice.
Oh, and it didn't roll with advantage.
23.
Noise.
I'm gonna sit here and twiddle my fingers and watch.
Okay, so with a nat 20, Sistana, you go first, followed by Sly. And then we're going to have our first goblin action. So, let's do it.
Well, Sistana is very intrigued by that mirror and the possibility of speaking directly with one's deity. So she is going to command that goblin pretending to be a queen to drop it. Gently, but drop it.
Okay. What is the saving throw for that?
It is a wisdom saving throw, and she has a minus d4, which is 0.
This is where she will. This is where she will take her legendary action.
Yeah, and take that resistance. It's okay. It's 1. It's 1.
Offense.
She failed the important one. She allowed it to fail the important one. That's fine. And then she's just gonna be. Told you to drop it. You'll do it sooner or later.
You see all the eyes shift from looking for the halfling, the eyes in the mirrors, and the eyes in the head of the goblin all turn to look at the drow.
It's pleasant to be the center of attention. I do look nice in this dress.
Thank you. So since with myself the 25 from before, and now that they're not looking for me, I'm gonna shoot again. I'm gonna lean around something and fire again, just trying to hit her. Okay.
Gotcha.
Got advantage on that from being hidden. Come on, short bow. 14?
Hits.
My God. I don't get sneak attack on this, but 10 piercing.
10 piercing.
If you're hidden, why don't you?
Oh, right, because I had advantage.
You get sneak attack.
Sorry, I'm thinking of my melee stuff.
Oh!
Nice.
That's a horse of a different color. Okay, so as the eyes begin to look, that spot that you were going for before, you hit it. Only it's from the opposite side this time. So instead of going in the interior of the forearm through the wrist, you go in the exterior. And Sistana, you actually see the hand of this goblin nailed to her own chest as it just drives into the sternum, skipping off a rib, and you see the eyes go wide, and all the eyes in the mirrors go wide as well as this arrow quivers, piercing and nailing arm to chest. But
Bonus action hide.
sure, roll me stealth.
Bye-bye.
Okay, as this happens, I need everyone to roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Is this versus being frightened or something else?
It is
Yeah.
not versus being frightened.
Okay.
Is it charmed or sleep?
It is neither.
Ooh, what is it?
I think if we have if I have advantages somewhere
Yeah.
lined up, I'm going to use that for this.
Yeah, good idea.
Okay.
I think
Yeah, I was going to say
Doesn't matter
that
for me, though.
nice.
Vidath, Ben, Opal, you still have...
24.
Okay, I'll take my advantage here.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I have plot armor somewhere.
Several things happen at once. Those of you that scored above a 20, Vidath, Lauren, and Sistana, you all witnessed the entirety of this action.
Oh, and Ben
As-
took advantage, right?
Yeah, but I'm
Ben,
at,
if
yeah, I'm
you're
taking
at
advantage.
20. Yeah, okay. So all of you but Opal
Who's this
watch
dumb
the
as a brick?
following. You all see all of the goblins, the one in the throne, the entangled ones, everybody, they drop to the ground, lifeless, no longer moving, their eyes staring straight ahead. Several of them, their eyes begin to roll in independent ways, one going right, one going left. You hear the struggling from inside the cauldron stop. But as you look around, you see the goblin that was still basically just having taken from the throne sit back down. And as she sits there with her hand nailed to her chest, she's no longer holding the mirror. But as you all turn and look around, the moans from inside the cauldron begin again. Whispers of two children. What's going on? I don't know. You see the top begin to move a bit. I don't hear them. But as Sly, Vidath, and Ben, and Sistana turn around, you all see Opal standing by the fire, holding the mirror. He smiles,
Well,
and
shit.
all the faces in the mirror smile back.
Well,
And that, my friends, is where we will end this session of the one shot.
Turns out the waffle neutral dragonborn is the bad guy.
for now.
There we go. I like these characters a bunch. Awesome,
I tried something
awesome.
I'd never tried before.
Love it, love it. Let me see. Let's go over to Hopeful. There we go. All right, my friends, let's go around, and now we get to tell everybody who you are, where can we find you online, and all of that great stuff. Let's start with Opal. Opal, how are you doing, my friend? where can we find you online? And did you have fun getting possessed by a god? I mean, playing D&D.
Well, I had fun playing D&D. Not so much getting possessed by an unknown god. Anyway, I am Dragon98 on Discord. You can find me on Twitter under Dragon97. You can find me on Facebook. Pretty much any social media platform. Except for Snapchat. I don't like Snapchat.
Fantastic. Fantastic, my friend. Fantastic. And I dug Opal quite a bit. It's just, boy, that final wisdom save is the gods giveth and the gods taketh away. Speaking of God,
-1 for wisdom.
Yeah, the deck was stacked a bit, but speaking about stacking the deck and of course worshiping all the good gods, let's drop down to Prax. Prax, how are you, my friend? Where can we find you online? And how did you like your jaunt through this pit of sand and goblins?
Oh, Greg, it's always fun when I get to come play with you guys. You all know me. I'm at Deirdre Donlin on Twitter, or Praxagorth Thesmiophoria, as you see me hanging out in the Twitch chat and on Discord. For Tales from the Grim, I spend lots of time writing tragic songs about things that happen on this channel and enjoying it fuds. But you can find me on Saturday as I'm running some Western Pulp Cthulhu, driving some fine folk mad over on Wandering DM's channel. Yeah, they just had a really pleasant evening and met some very nice ladies. It was a really great evening. And then on Sundays over on Soul Bear RPG, where I play my Fey Bard, and there's a black dragon there. That'll be fun. And then on Mondays, I'm back on Wandering DM's channel, and Simon's just given us a void dragon. So, like, dragons, it's a thing. But, and in about 20 minutes, you might see me or hear me hanging over on Encounter Josh's channel as Sistana actually runs through some Neverwinter.
Fantastic. Awesome. Part of the Neverwinter 6, is that what I've heard?
Officially the Neverwinter role players, as we have an entire band of Guild of Neverwinter Drow role playing it out. Me, role players, Encounter Josh, Wandering DM, and Koros RPG, another friend of the channel.
Fantastic. I like almost all those people. No, I'm joking. I like them all.
I mean, I can tell Tia you said you didn't like her, and...
Listen.
Don't you dare badmouth mistress.
Right. Listen, I would pick a fight with a storm giant, gladly, happily, before I ever had a crossword for Tia. Not that I would ever have one, but listen, a guy's got to know his limitations, and by God, I know mine.
All right, y'all, this is coming off. I'm sorry.
Fantastic. Hawk, my friend, how are you doing? And where can we find you online? And what did you think of your time in the sand?
Oh, I'm doing fine. I'm Kentucky Hawkeye, KY Hawkeye for short. You can find me that way on Twitter or here on Twitch or on Instagram. On Twitch, you can find me Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights, and Thursday nights doing some different gaming stuff. Tuesday night is the Kick a Brick night where we're playing the different Lego game series and all that. We've just started the DC Supervillains game, which has been been surprisingly more fun than I thought it was even going to be so far. Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern is my weekly Skyrim serial, where we're getting almost to the end of the adventures of Eric Rosine, a character that's more Nord than the Nords, as he's wrapping things up there. And then Thursday nights, for those of you who are Critical Role fans who just can't get enough, I've taken the main players from Campaign 1 and Campaign 2, Vox Machina and the Mighty Nine, and a number of other monsters and NPCs, a total of 69. I've created characters. I've made them as wrestlers in their own WWE 2K19 universe, and I've started streaming that, and I'm hoping, and starting this week, I'm hoping to get them loaded to YouTube. So that otherwise, during the day, I'm a real-life cancer cleric, and during the evening, I'm either gaming or I'm a RPG fanboy bouncing around all the other channels here. And as far as what I liked, I mean, what's not to like? I got to Eldritch Blast people. I got to kill I got to stab something with my sword, and I got half of my leg and torso bit out of me. What isn't there to like?
Well, one of those things is not like the other.
It doesn't get any better than that, especially for someone who's been out of this for 30 plus years. So,
Oh, I'm with you, my friend. I'm with you. Thank you so much for being here. And let's go over to Doc. Doc, how are you doing, my friend? And where can we find you online? And did you like your time in the big litter box?
It was great. I enjoyed it so much. I'm so glad I finally got to play with you. I've been wanting to for quite a while, so I can check that off my bucket list. That's awesome. Thank you so much. And just the whole thing was excellent. I really enjoyed just that. Oh, look, it's it's goblins, and then they're much more dangerous than we ever possibly could have thought. So awesome. It brought the awesome. I am Jim Ryan. I am a writer, streamer, and podcaster. I am Other Doc on Twitch and Twitter. On Tuesdays, I am playing in the Urban Shadows campaign over on Off the Table. They have two campaigns. I'm in the one that's the second one. They do them both on the same night. They have the Sprawl and then the Drag, and I'm in the Drag. So that's a lot of fun. We're getting back into that. Tomorrow, on my channel, we are doing the finale of Dirty Secrets. I'm starting to do different campaigns every month. Dirty Secrets is a story game. I, for some reason, had the book sitting right here. It's a modern noir game. It's effectively sort of GM-less, and where we do build a detective story, and we're about to solve all the mysteries. It's going to be delightful. During the weekends, let's see, this Saturday, we're resuming our campaign of the Cold Ruins of Last Life, which is a setting for Dungeon World, where everybody's undead. And that's being run by GM Matthias. It's just can't wait to get back to that. This Sunday, I'm going to be facilitating, I do one-shots. This one-shot for this Sunday is going to be A Penny for My Thoughts by Paul Tevis. It's a game about amnesiacs trying to help each other recover their memory. That's another GM-less story game. And I actually still have signups open for that. So if there's any interest in that or in the Dungeon World campaign that I'm running next month, which signups are just ending today. So this is the last day you can sign up for Dungeon World. But the rest I've still got open. You can check that out, as well as links to my various other projects, audio and otherwise, at my website, which is jimyesthatjim.com.
Fantastic, fantastic, my friend. Links in chat for all of these fine people. Please make sure you give them a follow and see exactly all the wonderful creative things they're getting up to online. In addition, and finally, my friend, Lauren, how are you? How did you like your time in the sand? And where can we find you online?
Crack. I'm Lauren. I'm That Salty Ginger over on Twitter. You can find me around the internet playing games with my friends. I play over on the Scraticus Academy and on Off the Table. I post about it all on my Twitter. And I'm part of the team here at Tales from the Grim. I run a Lady Blackbird campaign on Monday nights with a bunch of awesome people. And we'll be playing Honey Heist this Sunday. It's a lot of our first time. Kiana's going to run it for us. So we'll be doing that at 7 Eastern on Sunday right here.
Fantastic, fantastic. Again, link is in the chat. My name, Grimjack21502 on the Twitter, part of the Tales from the Grim team, right where you are here on the Twitch. Just to let you know the fun things that we have coming up. In addition to Honey Heist on Sunday, we have Highlander If on a Winter's Night, Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern. We have the wonderful Lady Blackbird, Mondays, 9 p.m. Eastern, where we are having some fun with Navigator Lauren, who is taking us through just the best places. They're awful, but we're having fun doing it. Next Wednesday, and this time slot, you will see the return of May Black Roses Bloom, Donathan Fry's wonderful vision into the dark Dragonlance narrative of Dungeons & Dragons 5e. We will be back, and it'll be the first of our final 3 episodes of the season, so please make sure you join us. We're going to round out this story and continue the fun, chaos, and brilliance that Donathan has begun. And then tomorrow and next Thursday, you will be able to see the final 2 episodes of Dungeon of the Mad Mage, which begins at 8 p.m. Eastern and runs in this time slot only on Thursdays. So join us then and just give us a follow to do all this lovely stuff with us. We love having you. We love the contributions. Chat, you're always fantastic. Legion, I couldn't be happier to be a part of this wonderful community. And then, of course, the one one thing that I want to mention and make an announcement here for the very first time. This fall, we had an Outbreak Undead stream where no fewer than 32 of you ran through a scenario in the world of Garrett, Maryland. It was an encounter undead that spanned the entire Legion community. Coming this spring, it's going to be Mad Max. So strap on your leather, get your spikes, Legion, because you're all hitting the wastelands with us as we take to the Fury Road. And what a day. What a lovely day that's going to be. So as we get ready for the things to come, we always pay homage to the things that we have. Look around at your friends that tell the stories with you. Start and finish one another's sentences, because that's what we like to do here. And as the campfire goes down, there is only one thing left to say. You can't always roll nat 20s, but you can always role play. We'll see you soon, my friends.